The factional national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Tanimu Turaki, has vowed to appeal an Oyo State Federal High Court judgment which suspended the recent national convention of the party, which was held in November 2025 in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Turaki expressed concerns at the decision of the court to recognize the caretaker committee of the Samuel Anyanwu faction, failing to recognize the National Working Committee of the PDP elected during the convention. He said that the court granted release not prayed for by parties to the suit, and adds that the party has filed a notice of appeal, including a stay of execution of the judgment.
For clarity, we approached the court seeking an order of mandamus to compel the Independent National Electoral Commission to recognize the Ibadan Convention and to facilitate official party communications with the Commission. In the course of the proceedings, some former members of our party who had earlier been expelled applied to be joined and were so joined by the order of the court. The court proceeded suo motu to grant reliefs that were neither prayed for nor canvassed by any of the parties before the court. Consequently, we have filed a notice of appeal as well as motion for stay of execution of the judgment, and we're determined to pursue this matter diligently and to its logical conclusion in accordance with the law.
To discuss this recent development in the PDP, we're joined by South-South Zonal Secretary, the People's Democratic Party, George Turner. Mr. Turner, it's good to have you join us on the news. What's your interpretation of the court's decision to nullify the Ibadan National Convention and the outcomes of that convention?
It's expected. Even, I'm sure, those who went to court, Turaki SAN himself, I'm sure he knew that the outcome was going to be, what it is. You see, there is this saying that when you commit a crime, or let me put it a bit milder, when you tell a lie, you need another lie, to cover up a lie, and then another lie, and then another lie, again and again, and you just keep going and keep lying. You see, you can't put something on nothing and expect it to stand. We had two clear court judgments. One of them clearly restrained the PDP from going ahead with the November 15th proposed Ibadan Convention. Another of the judgments clearly restrained INEC from either receiving any notice, allowing or participating, or even recognizing any outcome, assuming the party goes ahead, with that convention. Now, some persons went to Ibadan, under the guise that they were to hold a PDP convention. We have always insisted that what they had in Ibadan was an Amala party. Now, legitimacy, when you have legitimacy, you don't struggle to announce it. When they came back from Ibadan, they approached the Federal High Court. You heard the SAN, Turaki. I can't refer to him as factional chairman again because the court have clearly barred him from holding himself out.
So you're saying
even him himself can no longer, even him himself can no longer hold himself out as factional chairman or anything because the court have said so. You see, we are in a democratic society governed by the rule of law.
Right. Despite its resolution to appeal this judgment for a stay of execution of the judgment, are you still saying that it nullifies his position?
No, what is want to? That is his opinion. Has he appealed? Even if he appeals, an appeal does not in itself constitute a stay. You must have a stay, either by the federal court or the higher court, the court of appeal. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Don't forget, he said they went to court for an order of mandamus. You went to court to compel INEC to recognize you, and you say you are you were elected, chairman and members of working committee, yet you needed to go to court for an order of court for you to be recognized. And we went to court to join, because when they took INEC to court, they are being clever by half. When they took INEC to court, I was one of those who approached the federal court in Abuja and got judgment from the Justice Omotosho's court. So we went to the federal court in Ibadan and applied to be joined, because they cleverly refused to bring to the knowledge of the Federal High Court in Ibadan the subsisting judgments, the two subsisting judgments of both Justice Lifu and Justice Omotosho. So when we applied to be joined, my Lord looked at our application and saw merit and granted our application, and we were joined. And we brought this judgment before my Lord. And the National Caretaker Committee also joined to say, look, we are leaders of the party as of today, and this is how we emerged, and this is how we became leaders of the party. So the court looked at it all. Remember, he's saying that the court granted release and other parties did not ask for or can, but that is not correct. When you approach a court, you count your orders, your release. The last is always for such further orders as the court may deem fit in the circumstance. Every court has that, powers, discretionary powers to make further orders as it deems fit in the circumstance.
Mr. Turner.
The court looked at all the processes before it and agreed that there was no convention in Ibadan.
All right,
and the court also looked at it and agreed that the party cannot, be leaderless. And the court held that the National Caretaker Committee, headed by Abdurrahman Mohammed and Chairman and Senator Samuel Anyanwu as secretary, as of today, are the legitimate leaders of this party.
Let's look at the now recognized Caretaker Committee, right? That is led by Mr. Mohammed, Alhaji Mohammed, and also Mr. Anyanwu, right? As the road to 2027 and to the PDP governors who are on the other side of this faction, right? And those who are on the Mohammed-led faction, what happens to this house? Let's look at all the pieces on the table and the juggernaut that is the APC. What is PDP's chances now heading into 2027?
Yes, you see, what is happening in the PDP is a struggle for control of structure, which is normal. That is politics. You can't take it away. Once we are done with this process and there's a clear leadership, as we have it now, the court have pronounced Abdurrahman Mohammed as the authentic national chairman in acting capacity of the party as of today. Those who want to appeal will have their right to do so. But what I expect is that now that we have a clear headway, recall that INEC had insisted that they would not grant recognition until the court, gives a clear headway on this matter. Now the court has spoken. Interestingly, we didn't go to court. Abdurrahman didn't go to court. It was Turaki and his group that went to court, and they've gotten the judgment that they deserve. Now, we expect that all hands will now be on deck, return back to the table, and then we put all our interests forward.
Can all hands be on deck?
Also, so that this party can move forward.
I mean, we've seen fates. We've seen the fates of opposition parties. We've seen the fates of opposition parties that have told the same line of faction. We've seen Labour Party and other parties who have told this line. Oftentimes, all hands don't always come back on deck. What is the guarantee that this faction that is now recognized by the courts, will be able to absorb the other factions and put to bed or understand, allay their worries and fears or ego and move ahead for 2027? Can the PDP stand tall?
Don't forget, this is not the first time the PDP, is in this kind of situation. We have our ways, we will always come out of it. And when we do, we will all return back as members of one family and move forward. What we have is, what we are going through is normal ourselves, even in the APC, the ruling party or any other party. Once it is time for, decision as to leadership of the party structure, because it is a convergence of people for different and diverse opinion and interest groups, you must always have this, scrabbles and struggles, and people try to, gain control, and then cliques and, little formations and groupings and are normal. It's politics. But once a leadership emerges, that is where the party becomes, the party is always said to be supreme.
All right.
Now, Abdurrahman Mohammed have clearly emerged. What is expected now is not a grandstand. Everybody should now come. Luckily, we now have a leeway. We were in a dilemma.
All right.
Now, INEC can at least listen to somebody, before. And that was how we were not able to field candidates in Ekiti and Osun. But as of today, if there's an election, PDP can now have a primaries, and Abdurrahman and Senator Samuel Anyanwu can now validly and legally transmit nominations to INEC.
Okay.
That is a headway.
All right.
So we expect, and I am using this medium to appeal to our leaders, founding fathers, all the factions and the contending groups and interest groups, and particularly this our leader Turaki Tanimu Turaki. It is time to come together. Let us put our differences on the table, so that we know how to discuss them and then reach a compromise where it is a win-win situation.
All right. All right, Mr. George, I wish we could continue, but we're pressed for time. George Turner, once again, many thanks. George Turner is part of the PDP South zonal section there of the PDP, just talking about the annulled convention that happened in Ibadan in November of 2025. Thank you once again.